Welcome to Netrix IT's Connectwise Manage Level 1 training. In this section, we'll be going over basic navigation and function with inside of Connectwise Manage. Let's begin. Open up your preferred web browser. In this instance, we'll be using Firefox. Once your browser is open, navigate to connect.netrixit.com. Upon the page loading, you'll be greeted with three fields: company, username, and password. For company, we're going to input Netrix IT. For username, it'll be your first initial and last name, and for password, it'll be the password that was provided to you previous to this training. Once the web page loads in, on the left side you'll see the navigation bar. This is where you're able to navigate between the different modules of Connectwise Manage. Starting with My Favorites, you can access My Favorites by hovering over it and seeing the contents of your My Favorites list. To add something to the My Favorites list, you simply have to right-click it and hit Add to Favorites. And just like that, it's added to the list. This allows for quicker navigation for different systems that you use more often. Some of the important modules you'll see are Companies, which has all the information relating to your company, the Sales module, which gives you access to your My List and your My Calendar, and the Service Desk module, which gives you access to look at the service board, create new service tickets, and view your calendar from here as well. Let's jump into the service board and take a look at tickets. Once clicked, you'll be loaded into the default service board view. You can customize this view however you want by right-clicking columns, dragging and dropping them, or even changing your view settings on the top right. You can see we already have a ticket in here ready to go. Let's take a look. Once the ticket loads in, there are a number of pods and fields you'll see. These help with reporting, as well as organization of tickets and classification. The ticket view can be completely customized on a per-user basis. Feel free to drag and drop any of the pods that you want into any order you like. You can also add additional pods by clicking the plus sign at the end of the pod list. These pod customization settings will stick with you and your username. Anywhere you sign in, you will have the same settings. Let's take a look at three of the big fields for reporting and classification of tickets. We have Type, where we'll have preloaded a list of different types available for your tickets. We have Subtype, which we will also have preloaded based on the type that is selected above. And finally, there's Item. If there's anything available in Item, it'll be based on the previous two selections. Configurations are a useful way to attach workstations and servers to tickets to let someone know what you're working on, as well as allow quick connection and interaction between Connectwise Manage and Automate. To add a configuration, simply click the plus sign at the top of the Configurations pod, and then type in the name of the configuration you're looking for. Once you're able to find the configuration you're looking for, you can hit a checkbox and then select Attach. This will put it on the ticket, and it will also assign the ticket to that device. This allows for backtracking and finding of historical issues with certain devices based on the ticket. The next field we'll look at is Time Entries. Time entries populate into the Notes pod based on which checkbox are selected. To create a time entry, simply select the clock at the top of the screen. To fill in a time entry, the first thing we'll need to do is check the start time. The start time should auto-populate to any time that you opened the ticket by default. The end time will be populated based on when you close the entry or when you hit the timestamp at that moment. The deduction field is very useful if you're working on more than one thing at once. You can also select between a number of standard notes that we have available. Our technicians like to use Disk. Once Disk is selected, it will pre-fill the template into the ticket notes. You can then fill in the information that's missing, as we will do now. As for spelling errors, Connectwise does use the default spell checker for Windows. Once you've finished your notes, you'll change the status of the ticket to the most accurate representation of what the next step is. Selecting or deselecting the contact box will determine if the contact on the ticket will receive an email based on the update. Once everything looks good, go ahead and hit Save and Close. After this, you'll be able to upload any attachments that you feel are necessary for the ticket. So if you used any presentations or if you used any guides, you can always add those in here manually. To do this, scroll down to Attachments, click the plus sign, and then add any attachment you feel by browsing your computer to add it. Once you're satisfied with the name and description of the new file, hit Save. This attachment is now downloadable for anyone who uses this ticket in the future to reference back to. If you need to assign yourself to a ticket or schedule yourself for a ticket, there are two handy buttons on the Resources pod. A resource is anyone who will work on the ticket. You can also add resources to a ticket by clicking the plus sign on Resources and Meetings and adding a person by their username. Once you've selected who's going to be added to the ticket, you can then choose a time, date, and even location for when they're going to be working the issue. Once you've confirmed all the details, press Save. Once you're done with your particular task on the ticket and you have no follow-up, you can always mark yourself as done. Let's take a look at your My List. From here, you'll be able to see every ticket that is assigned to you as a technician. Once scheduled on the ticket, you can go to your My Calendar view, and you can change the ticket's time entry from there. So if you have it scheduled from 12 to 1, but really need it from 1 to 2, it's as easy as drag and dropping or rescaling it. From the calendar view, you can also enter into the ticket directly by double-clicking or right-clicking and selecting Open. From the calendar view, you can also add in your My List to see a list of all the tickets you're assigned, along with the calendar view itself. Thank you for watching the basics and overview of Connectwise Manage from Netrix IT. Feel free to reach out to us with any questions at support@netrixit.com. Thank you very much.